Warning: this program may contain explicit language that may be considered offensive or inappropriate to children and some adults.
The following content is intended for mature audiences only.
So much better now.
Hello, and hey everybody. It is Geeking Out time. It is Monday, and we are here for Geeking Out. So, welcome to Geeking Out. While you're watching, before we get started, of course, first things first, we want you all to share, join the share squad, share this video wherever you are. If you're watching us, make sure you like us on YouTube as well. Most of the places has a link, and you can go to YouTube, like the YouTube video, so we can up our viewership and our interactions. All right, great. So today we're going to be talking about Charmed. It's Charmed reboot versus original. But before we get into all that, we have our list of things that we have to go down the list and say and do, and that would start with introductions. So to start off, there is of course Ricky Z, who is dope. Social media manager, co-host on this show every once in a while. On this show every week, and on Talk It Out every once in a while. Yeah. There's also Julian. Julian is Julian. and then there's me. If you recognize, there is, and I'm Duryea, and I've been here before. Usually we're here with Chris, but Chris was not able to be here today. Chris was not able to be here today because he is going, he's got personal things going on, but our love and our hearts are with him and, his family and his husband's family. So we will be sending him love from afar. However, we are joined by two awesome guests. One being someone who's always talking about coming onto the podcast. There was a whole campaign, and so since we broke the chain of not having them on the podcast, we decided to have them on the podcast tonight, and that would be Mo Smith Pro. Mo Smith, this is the second occasion that they have been on the show. Thank you, Mo. And also, we have another guest, Jermaine, who is a close friend of Julian's, and we are all nerds, all Charmed aficionados. Not like I'm a Charmed aficionado, but I think everyone here has seen both Charms, correct?
Yes.
So then Julian did it. Julian, you did your homework.
I know, could you believe it? Well, that's because, the first time I've already seen it the whole way through because I watched that one religiously. And then the second
when it came out.
Yeah, I watched it at the time. And then now this one, the newer one rather, I caught up maybe a few weeks ago. Well, there's only 2 seasons, but I see that there's a 3rd season, right?
There's a 3rd season coming.
It's on right now. Okay,
no,
it's on right now.
Oh,
it's
coming
right now.
It's coming out, like, new
like
episodes
to streaming on,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. But they don't do that. They don't stream until the entire season is finished, no?
No. You can watch episodes on the CW website, or they have an app on, like, Roku and stuff, yeah.
But you have to pay for it?
No, you don't have to pay for it.
No.
Oh, okay,
it's just commercial.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's commercial.
I don't mind commercials. Whatever. I'll put that bitch on.
And
I can still
like,
watch it now. That's what I'm
And usually you can watch like at least 3 or 4 at a time before they take like the oldest one off, and you have to wait till the season's back on.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was anyway. Yes.
Well, that's great to know. So before we get into everything, we usually do a segment called Geek. What do we call it? What are you geeking out about? We're not going there yet.
Oh,
but first, take a look at this really short clip from a Wonelli Media exclusive live stream that just premiered last night.
Good.
Actually, no, I'm not going to show that.
Such a tease.
I'm such a
Just
tease.
kidding.
I am such a tease because that's not what I wanted to show. So I'll wait. So Instead of that, I want y'all to watch another short ad from one of our sponsors. That was Pretty in Pink Bundles. Thank you, right. Pretty in Pink Bundles. They got Brazilian Indians, 30 inches. They have lace fronts. They have hair oils, everything. Pretty in Pink, not in pinkbundles.com. Go get yourself hooked up. Get your beauty needs met. All right, let's start this off with, let's let Jermaine start off. What are you geeking out about, Jermaine? Geeking out is basically what's going on in nerd culture that has you like super stoked right now?
Right now, let me see. Well, currently right now, I'm in the middle of playing Epic 7. It's a mobile game. It's a lot of fun, really beautiful animation. I've been playing it for like 3 years, and I still can't like break away from it. But aside from that,
what kind of mobile game is it? Can I ask?
It's a like RPG type thing.
Ah, bitch, yes, like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it gave me my D&D fix when I couldn't play D&D anymore.
Man, what's it called? Sorry, again?
Epic 7.
Epic 7. All right.
Does it have like magic and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you build a team, or you have a single? You build
a
character?
team. It's it's a gacha game, so there's like a ton of characters. You assemble a team. You run through the levels.
It's very Brave Exvius.
Yes.
Brave Exvius. Okay.
Yes, but a lot.
Yeah.
A lot prettier.
All right. So
like the
like
animation
3D?
is absolute top notch. Like,
oh yeah.
It doesn't make sense that there's not an anime out of this.
Yeah. There's a few mobile games that are like that.
I'm sure it's coming.
There's a few mobile games.
No, they just
animes.
do like short animation bursts. Like they do like commemorative, like music videos and stuff. Like for the second anniversary, they did this whole music video of like the pop idol character, and it was gorgeous. Like the animation for it was, it didn't make sense. It was like $1 million video for 2 minutes.
Right.
Give me more.
I mean, with those type of glowing reviews, they got to have something coming down the pipeline.
I know. Give it some time.
For anime, yeah.
Yeah, give it some time.
So other than that, I'm just waiting for Sailor Moon Crystal Eternal to finally launch.
Sailor Moon Crystal Eternal? What is that?
It's the final chapter to Sailor Moon Crystal. So Sailor Moon Crystal. I mean,
like, what is it? A book, a movie, or
it's a movie?
Book? It's a manga.
It's a 2-part movie.
Okay. Oh, it's an anime movie. Yes.
I
mean, Sailor Moon has been in our hearts for like, what, 20, 30 years now?
She still lives there.
So, like, Sailor Moon Crystal, is this the one that's been, like, dubbed and you can find on Hulu and watch?
Yes. I think they've dubbed it on Hulu.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know it's on Netflix for sure.
Oh, I haven't seen it on Netflix, but I've been watching it on Hulu.
Wait, it's out already then?
No. The series.
The series, Sailor Moon Crystal, is out. So what they've done, like a couple of years ago, it came out. The first. So it's supposed to follow the manga more closely than the '90s anime did.
Right.
So things happen a lot quicker and way different.
Yeah.
And we've got.
And they're not cousins.
Right.
No, they are not cousins this time.
Right.
But they're also not girls all the time. Like Uranus is like transforms from a boy into a girl in this one instead of just.
Oh, that's
nice.
Like
the Sailor Starlight.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah. So in this season, we're gonna get the Starlights. So yeah, I'm super juiced.
Okay, on the Sailor Moon tip, actually, I just came across an Instagram who was doing like their own adaptation of Gender Bend of like of the Sailor Scouts. And I was like, oh, these are really fucking nice. And so like one of them, I'm like, I actually might do that for Halloween, and it bombed. So there is a possible Sailor Scout in the future. We'll see. We'll see how hype I can get about it. But I did just come across it today, this morning, and I was just like, oh, this is a really nice design. I would fucking make this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we'll see.
Is it like Sailor Moon, or is it like cute High Earth Defenders Club love?
No, it's very Sailor Moon. It's very like Sailor Scout. It's very like Sailor Scout as you know, man form. Probably a little bit skimpier, maybe, or just as.
Of course, it wouldn't be a Julian costume if it wasn't skimpy.
Hello?
How dare you read me this way?
Hello?
Okay, anyway, the point.
I would love to see Julian do a costume where, like, he was covered at least from neck to toe.
I have.
Nah.
Bitch, I have a number of times.
This is not that alternate universe.
Oh, this is oh, I have one. Let me go find one.
Okay, yeah, please, because I'm gonna need receipts for that one.
Come on, receipts. Yes.
I was Venom not 2 years ago. There we go. Boom. I was Venom not 2 years ago. Like a whole, you know, a whole bodysuit. That's a whole bodysuit. That's a whole bodysuit from top to bottom. Another time I was the tortoise, like the tortoise in the hair. But I was like a monster tortoise, I suppose. That was also a bodysuit, so that was like a full morph suit.
But who saw you?
I'm. How dare you? I actually went to a pretty like exclusive, like not exclusive. Well, yeah, I guess it was. I got to pay. It was like it was Bob the Drag Queen was there. Kim Chi was there. They did a whole costume contest. Like we entered. Like it was pretty solid actually. It was pretty solid. There was like a lot of pretty good names there. We went to New York for it. So by the way, that time. So yeah, I have a whole picture. It's like an official one from the club and shit. All right, whatever. But
okay.
Where everybody just like.
Yeah, if you say so. Whatever. It was nice. Okay. It was nice at the time. Anyway,
we on that Whoopi Goldberg right now. That Whoopi Goldberg.
I have been fully clothed. The point is, Sailor Scouts maybe in the future.
You remember Whoopi Goldberg did that to Megan McCain on The View?
Yeah, she did.
Everyone does.
Megan McCain did that whole. She did that whole rant, and then Whoopi Goldberg goes.
Can we just cancel her already, though?
You're not even gonna let me do this. Can I do my impression, damn it, Julian? Or you gonna keep interrupting me? Never mind. Go ahead. It's over with. Go ahead.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm
Hello?
speaking.
Hello? Okay. All right. Is that all you're geeking out about?
Jermaine?
Oh yeah. That's all I got for now.
Awesome. All right. Let's let Julian get his out of the way. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, whatever. Mine's quick anyway. I have been watching. Well, since we were talking about Star Wars last time, I have kind of gotten a little bit back onto the Star Wars tip. So I was like, let me rewatch Clone Wars, right? Amazing. I forgot just how fucking good it is. Like, the character development, the story plots. Oh my god.
Clone Wars? You mean the cartoon?
The series, the animated series.
Yeah, okay.
The part 2, the series finale or whatever. The final season, but it's like 8 seasons long. That makes no sense. But anyway.
But it worked, though.
Yeah, it was amazing. It is so good, because I'm not done.
Did you get all the way through the whole series?
I have seen it already, but I haven't, like, rewatched it. I'm like on the last 2 seasons of it, so I'm like, reliving the plot again. I'm like, this is actually really good. Like the way that they unfolded everything. Honestly, the writing is amazing in this. I fucking love it. I thought it was so good. Ventress, amazing. Ahsoka, amazing. And I was like, so I kind of chose Yoda. I chose Yoda for like my alien the last time, right? But I'm like, Ahsoka, I forgot how much I fucking love you, bitch. Like, I've been crying this whole time. This is crazy. So anyway. I've been kind of doing that for a little bit. That's been my biggest geek out lately.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
The same writer or directors did The Mandalorian, right?
Yes.
And creating that universe on
yes,
Disney
which
Plus.
I haven't
yes and
yet.
no.
Well, I think they had like say on it. No, they were on the board. It's like a board of directors.
Dave Filoni has say on The Mandalorian, but ultimately, The Mandalorian is Jon Favreau's baby.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. So he's been a creative consultant. Got it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why the tie-ins between that and Clone Wars have been so perfect. And
Yeah,
even
Dave
with
Well,
Filoni
technically,
is
Clone Wars was
given-
Lucasfilms before it was Disney's. Yeah, Clone Wars didn't
Right.
come out until Clone Wars came out before Disney. I'm pretty sure. Before
Right.
the Disney takeover.
Yeah.
That's probably
Right.
also why. You know what I mean? Disney is taking their own directors versus Dave Filoni, who's going to have creative say as the director of Clone Wars.
So,
you know what I mean?
wait, so Jon Favreau, like the actor Jon Favreau?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
He's
know
also
that.
a director. He directed Iron Man.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I knew that, but like, I just,
okay.
you know,
Wait,
whenever I find something, he's been a part of them. I was like, oh, him? Like, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him so much.
right, right.
I'm not sure who does
Exactly.
Rebels
Dave-
actually, but
or-
that one
He's
Jon
like, you know,
Favreau.
I thought that was Dave Filoni too.
I'm pretty sure. That's what I'm saying. But because I've only gotten to 2 seasons of Rebels, technically,
Yeah.
which are all really good. But I'm pretty sure it's Dave Filoni. But I'm also pretty sure those started before the Disney takeover as well. I'm just trying to,
Yeah, Dave Filoni's behind
I'm
Rebels.
trying to get the timeline right.
Well, I thought that came out like right when the acquisition happened. But
Yeah,
that was kind of
maybe that's probably why. So I'm, under
Yeah.
contract, obviously, I'll finish it out. Anyway,
Right.
it's really good. The writing is amazing in there. Like Star Wars, Clone Wars is really fucking good. Like the development of the characters, the transformation of the characters, and oh god, so good. It's so good. It's so good. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. That's my biggest thing that I've been geeking out about, I guess.
Okay.
Sorry guys, I've been
No,
head over
you're
heels
fine.
into it.
That was cute.
Head over
Mo,
heels into it.
I'm sorry, you were saying what now?
what are you geeking out about, Mo?
Oh, all things anime lately. My Hero Academia started their 5th season this week or last week, so I got to watch their first episode. Yes, and it wasn't a full recap episode. Oh my god, they actually did story development on the first episode. Oh, and then I found out, wait a minute, they have a 3rd movie coming out, and I was like, hold up, I thought they only had 1 movie. So I had to go find the 2nd movie, which was on Stars. It was amazeballs. It was everything. Okay, so I've been geeking out about that. And then also I've been geeking out on Fire Force.
What is Fire
That
Force?
anime.
Ooh, I want to see that so bad. I want to see it
It's
so bad.
good. Basically you got
See, I don't get the anime craze.
It's the
I don't get
action.
it.
It's the action.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
action.
I like
But
Inuyasha,
animated
but
action.
I've tried to get into other animes, and I just haven't been able to.
well, see, Inuyasha was so long though too. It was almost One Piece level.
Honestly-
as many episodes they had, but
I haven't even
I
seen
think-
all of it.
Honestly, Full Metal Alchemist, I think it's really well balanced. There's enough action to like keep you like, oh, this is cool. The way the animation, the movement, all of it's great, but the plot is also there. You know what I mean? There's
Right.
there's a lot of subplots. There's a lot of twists and turns. I think it's well balanced in that way. That's worth trying if you're trying to like get into anime. You know, it might catch
exactly.
If you're gonna go Full Metal Alchemist, I would say Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's
Yes.
just as
Right,
beautiful.
because that was more closer with the
That's
manga.
more like the manga.
Yeah.
It's short.
They're both on
Shorter,
Netflix,
doesn't
but do
meander
Brotherhood
for
first.
400 episodes.
Like, very, like, you're speaking little Japanese.
You're all y'all just started speaking Dutch 5 seconds ago, so.
And then
Okay, so
Yeah. There.
No,
So
I don't need
aside
the translation. I get it.
No.
Go ahead. For
But
the,
okay, so aside from Fire Force, also Black Clover is within their current season. So I've been really, loving their story development. Because I guess I like the epic hero. Those type of anime. Because it's just it makes me feel some kind of way when they go in and kick ass
Yeah.
after been getting their ass kicked half the
Yeah.
season. You know what I'm saying?
That's always
So-
fulfilling, and that's a good story trope. Period.
Right. Y'all hold on, but that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. Keeks.
I think she's like faded.
I see. I know. I see it. Rakia, your computer's glitchy today.
We're
I'm not
losing
sure
her.
why.
It's a trap.
Quick, reverse
It's
glare.
really bad. Like you're still talking, but you're not moving. You may want to like reboot, because I know you have a good computer. I don't know why we're not getting an image for
Charmed reboot. Reboot the show. Reboot. Okay.
Segue? What?
Great segue.
it. Well, I guess we lost Rakia. Okay. Well, what
I guess she's thinking about it.
Yeah, she's loading. But she'll be back. So, I go to mine. So what I'm geeking out about is, right now I'm geeking out about Lil Nas X. I'm geeking out about Lil Nas X.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yes, let's talk about it.
Because
Lil Nas
I'm geeking
X.
out about Lil Nas X because, in addition to other things, but I always have a long list. I'm geeking out about Lil Nas X because, not even because of the music video. I'm actually geeking out about his trolling.
His response.
Yes! The ultimate troll! Yes!
I think, it's crazy though, when I saw the video, I was like, oh, that's a cool video. I liked it, but I was like, the people who hate the video are actually making it more popular. I don't know, do they understand it? Like,
right.
And then I saw a meme today where somebody was like, I'm trying to figure out why Christians was watching the video in the first place. But so it's like, but it's like, then you hate it so much that you have to go make a reaction video to it. But then if I watch that reaction video in order to know what you're talking about,
I'm gonna go watch the video.
I have to go watch the video. And I'm like, y'all are literally like, oh, it's
putting
a plot.
money in his pocket.
It's a plot to do this and that and the third. What it seems like it was a plot to sell records, and y'all are falling right into that. Hook, line, and sinker. And then honestly, you know how many songs have been made that probably were problematic? Like, not saying that his was, but that were called problematic that then later on were just like, no one heard about him or cared, and you could say lines to him right now and I wouldn't know what you were talking about. People are gonna hear about this. This is gonna be a whole thing. Right?
It's WAP all over again.
Yeah.
It is WAP all over again.
Yeah.
I think it's just interesting that his response to it. Apparently, he's been trolling them all weekend.
Oh,
yeah,
amazing!
He's been like warming up, and waiting for it
all weekend since it dropped.
He has all the time for all the Twitter.
Pretty much.
I mean, he's an expert Twitter barb, so of course he's laying them out.
This generation, I'm like, I ain't got time for Twitter. I was one good at Twitter. I need time.
I mean, from nobodies to Caitlyn Bennett, he even trolled on Jonah Lucas. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy that did this song talking about I'm not racist and had white.
His name.
Because he was like, it's not right because, Old Town Road, you had kids singing that song. And he was like, dude, that song was about lean and adultery.
Hello.
So you need to raise your own kids.
Right. Was it mine? And then I saw that meme today where somebody was like, bruh, what's his name? The Weeknd got a Kids' Choice Award for that song I Can't Feel My Face When I'm With You, which is about cocaine. It's about cocaine.
Yeah.
So when you really think, we know why people are what?
Didn't they make a Kids Bop version of that song?
They made a Kids Bop version of what?
There's a Kids Bop version of everything, of the most
wings and pizza.
Yes, bitch.
Wings what?
Wings and pizza. Get a bucket full of ranch for some wings and pizza. Yep.
No, wings and pizza.
I can't. This is fucking crazy.
Okay, I'm about to get out. I'm leaving.
I'm telling you,
here.
Just like I said, I'm going to go. No. I'm done with life. I have finished.
You are lying to me.
I'm not. I'm telling you.
Wings and pizza.
Wings and pizza. It's out there. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay. And then somebody else said S&M. Nobody cared about that song when it came out.
Right.
I remember when that came out.
Well, I'm talking about S&M. Nobody cared. I may be bad, but I'm perfectly. Sex in the Air. I love the smell of it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but chains and whips excite me. No one gives a fuck about that song.
Radio station.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Nobody cared about it then.
Nobody cared. So
it's not at all. I love it. It's like when they want to make a stink about it. It's just when they want to make a stink about it.
No, they want to make a stink about these things. Let's be clear. They want to make a stink about a woman objectifying. It's okay for Rihanna to do that because she's hinting and being subtle about it. But if a woman wants to just be raunchy about it, a man it's a problem. Or if a gay person basically says fuck your condemnation, fuck your condemnation. I don't care about you to
honestly,
basically. And so that's really the problem. It's that the rhetoric is when you tell someone gay that they're going to hell, the response should be, oh no, let me not be gay. And so often the response has been, let me hide my head in shame. all that stuff, and now you're getting people go, fuck
Right,
that. I mean, I might not. It's not even all right. Bet. First of all, everybody gay ain't Christian. Everybody in the world ain't Christian. We can dig into the hypocrisy of Christianity and talk it out, but my point is to say, like, I don't have to listen to none of that just because you feel this way. And then what's bad is y'all let it seep into our law. Like, they just passed that law in Arkansas that medical professionals can deny treatment if they feel like the treatment goes against their conscience.
Which is what? Exactly.
So it's like to me, it's just like
oath where none of those things.
All of that stuff. Like, what are you doing?
We don't need ethics. I just need to know.
I just need to make sure my conscience is clear. I don't believe in this. And they were clear to say conscience because they knew if they said religion, then they would be stepping on like religion affecting state.
So does that mean like if somebody rolls into the emergency room and they can be like,
no? Technically, what it is that so they can discriminate against trans people.
That's what it is.
No, it's more so they can discriminate against trans people.
Like,
no, I'm not going to do this operation. No, I'm not going to put you on hormone therapy. No, I'm not going to put you through this, that, or the other thing.
It's only about trans people.
It's for it's to lock out on trans people. Like that's fucking retarded.
Absolutely.
It's basically rolling back progress because
in different ways.
It's a documentary called Southern Comfort where this trans man basically died because everyone refused to do his surgery because I believe he had ovarian cancer or something to that extent, and everyone refused to do it for him.
Yeah,
and he basically died. Yeah, so I mean, not that he didn't have the money, they just flat out refused.
Wow. Which is very much like what happened fucking during AIDS, where they just fucking just leave people like that. You know what I mean? They're locking them out of care. And actually, it's really funny that you would say that because just recently I'm seeing circulating through my sponsorship on my on my social medias healthcare for LGBTQ plus people particularly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like they can give them access in a way from certain places, you know, in a more blanketed way. So that there is initiative to try and counteract that, which is nice to see. But it's like you know what I mean? We need initiatives to counteract technically discrimination in our laws and our systems by the way of religion. Like, dismantle that shit. Fucking throw it away. Throw it all the fuck away.
Throw it away.
Over
Only
it.
in a perfect world.
Over it.
I mean, what are you going to do? So, I feel like, okay, that's one thing I'm geeking out. The other thing I'm geeking out about is, I'm kind of geeking out about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I've decided, I didn't watch last week's yet, but, because I'm geeking out about how pissed off I was watching it. I couldn't finish it. I couldn't finish it. No, Mo, uncover your ears because I want to hear what you got to say. I'm not going to spoil it too much.
I didn't realize it was a series. I'll say that.
I'm going to spoil something. Can I spoil something really quick, Mo? Just a little something?
What are you going to spoil? Because I haven't seen the second episode yet.
The end of the first episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the whole bootleg Captain America thing, watching that hurt my spirit as a black
The dollar
person.
store.
It really did. Like, at the beginning of the episode, I'm sitting there watching it, and him doing this interview with the blondest, and I know it's not her fault, but they got like the whitest white woman they could find and had her do this interview about
she's actually a host on.
I know who she is.
I know who she is. America.
I know who she is. I know exactly who she is. Yeah. My point is, it was so hard for me to watch because it was just it was like, y'all know that this is what happens. Like, this nigga just finished saving the world. The universe, sorry. After having saved the world. And you just gave it to some homegrown white boy. Because he was a homegrown white boy who was military. And then having his black friend be so like, oh, you deserve this. I literally was screaming at the television. And I just cut it off. And I want to finish it because I know it's going to be better. Well, no, I know. I know it's going to get, I'm sure at some point things will get rectified because if you look at the trailers like I do, things get rectified. But I just was mad. I was just like, I don't want to watch this because to me, once again, and I'll always say this, I'm so tired of our stories, black stories, involving black pain and black trauma.
Right.
So sick of it.
So
sick of it. So sick of it. It's like, all right, you could have definitely did this story without that, but thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
the thing I was so happy about with the first episode was that they actually stayed away. Like when they showed us his family, like the struggle with him and his sister. I love that story. Like, give us a conflict. Give us some story that doesn't have to do with, oh, I'm black and white people hate me, right? Because we know, like that's what that we know. We
know because like the whole thing with them is, oh, he's an Avenger, but he's black, and they can't get along. Oh no, like.
I don't think it was I didn't really get that him being black was why he couldn't get the loan. He couldn't get the loan because they couldn't prove income.
Mm-hmm. Well, wasn't he military?
Well, he had been retired for one, but he also
he still get a pension.
The biggest part of the issue is that he blipped.
Yeah, but he hasn't been around for 5 years.
He blipped.
Oh, okay.
And so they were like, we don't have a history of income for the last 5 years. And he's like, but I blipped. And he's like, yeah, but I don't know what to tell you. So
I'm just Asian America.
Right.
That's what people be calling it. People call it Asian America.
That's what it was.
I thought it was U.S. agent.
He's U.S. agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
My point is, like, watching that was like, after the first episode, I was like, yes, awesome. It's not like a race story. You finally have a like, that's like if WandaVision was all about women's suffrage and sexism and stuff like, or if, you know what I'm saying?
Supergirl was?
I didn't see Supergirl, but my point is, like, let's have these stories that aren't about white people, like, because when you put a white man as the lead in a superhero movie, we don't have to talk about his race at all. Like, we don't discuss his race being let's not even say a barrier. We don't show him being an oppressive motherfucker, like, outright. We don't make that part of the story because really Tony Stark is oppressive.
But wait, didn't they do that with the
Tony
boys?
Stark is oppressive. He's
very steamrolling.
Didn't they do that with the boys?
I haven't seen the boys.
I haven't really seen it either, but it's like they're oppressive.
But my point is, like, when you have you have Thor, you have all these white male lead movies, and none of their conflicts are their interactions with other races.
Mm-hmm. Well, Black Panther really wasn't.
Yes, it was. Did you not see the last 5 minutes of Black Panther where they were in the hood?
I mean,
but that wasn't
though. That wasn't.
I mean, that wasn't talking about oppression.
It wasn't talking about oppression, but it was once again black trauma.
Not really.
Not really.
Okay. Nah, but the whole point. Okay. I may not be remembering it. I'm not going to argue it because for me, the way I took it was a certain, like, a conversation between black Americans and all this other stuff. But I would have to watch it again. But I walked away from it going, okay, you had to add that part in there. You had to put that part in there. That's how it felt to me watching it.
Well, what
how did it end?
What the end of it was?
At the very beginning of it, they're in the hood, and
the end is when he's out.
It was a
when
flashback.
The kid is outside.
No, the end wasn't. The beginning wasn't a flashback. Was it a flashback?
Yes, it was a flashback.
It was a flashback. Okay, yeah, but they're in the hood. Some shit happens, and then the next part, they go back to the hood because he decides to, like, give money to. That's when they decide to, like, come out to the world as, like, Wakanda.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would have to watch it again. I'm not gonna lie. I have to watch it again because my recollection of it was that it just once again reminded us of black people's status.
You know why? It's due to the fact that the storyline points were in parallel to most of the, white savior type of movies, or AKA black facilitation of white enlightenment, where you have this white person that's going around the world in an idyllic world, and then they have this, black person that comes in that gives them reality, a reality kicking the ass, and they're like, oh, maybe I should help the people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I shouldn't be so,
and they just did it with a black person.
And they did it with an African person.
They just did it with an African person. They did that same story with an African person. To me, that's how it felt. Like, and the thing about it, like, that's how dog whistles work. That's how dog whistles work. Like, they might not seem outright. They might not seem outright.
I'm going to save the hood with this. He said, okay, this is where my uncle got killed by my dad, so I'm going to buy the building and open an embassy from Wakanda here. That's what it was.
Yes.
So then why have the interaction with the boys in the neighborhood?
Because where...
No, he had an interaction with those boys who didn't have anything to do with his uncle's death. He had an interaction with them, and the interaction that he had with them is why he then was like, "This is where we need to do it." Why even have that interaction?
Because when you first started in that flashback, you see the little boys playing basketball on that same court, and then you go back to the future or in the present.
So
I'm just gonna. No, I agree with Jerry because there's also a few I'm sorry, I had to agree with Jerry because if I remember correctly, this movie there are bits and pieces, and especially with the brother in the beginning, he said that this is where we need to be. This is where Wakanda needs to be. This is how our people are being treated across the world. We need to come out and support them.
Leave that on the screen,
because
please.
they are feeling black trauma, because black trauma exists for them. That is still a very permeating part of this movie, because I mean that's Killmonger's entire MO, you know what I mean? Is that Wakanda isn't doing enough, and that's what, but he wants to do the extreme, obviously, which is the point here. You don't want to do the extreme, but you still need to be participating in that arena, is what they're trying to say. But you know, obviously, it all ties back to it really does. That entire movie is still technically black trauma. Honestly,
this is the other thing.
And then the end, it goes entirely to the beginning, and then the entire subplot of.
And I want to respond to this comment from T. Suburban kids don't necessarily need a positive image because they have them. Kids in the hood have positive images too. Some of the smartest kids that we went to school with lived in the hood. They had the best grade point averages. They lived in the hood. Also, suburban kids have bad images too. They have horrible role models in the goddamn suburbs. They be beating their wives. They be beating their kids. Pedophilia. Like, just because you live in the sub, like, there may be like some tough shit in the hood, but it's not to say that you can't help people in the suburbs, or that hood people absolutely have no way of having these positive images. All I'm saying is, to me, it felt once again like, let's talk about the black struggle and make that a part of the movie. When you did this whole movie that wasn't about a black struggle, it was about a familial struggle. It was about a dynasty being fought over. Right. And that was so great to me. And once again, they did the same thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's like, you give us this really awesome stuff, but just like, let's make sure we talk about race. That's what the N-words want to hear about. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. And so I just don't like it. I'm like, damn it, you can tell. Even with Monica Rambeau, they made sure she played a black stereotype for that one episode.
What do you mean? Oh, you talking about one in the 70s?
You mean when
yes.
she was Geraldine?
When she was doing all of this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All of that stuff when she had to parade around the living room.
At the same time,
like,
that was a reflection. Yeah. But that was a reflection of the times in the 70s.
I think that was
a reflection of the time. It was, but it wasn't necessary. Because nobody else played. I don't think anybody else played a trope like that. Except her.
Well, no, because in the 80s, because in the 80s, Agatha or Agnes, she was being all extra during the 80s one when she had the baby.
Agatha changed the whole crew.
Agatha literally was extra the moment she walked on set. How do you do, Nabe? She was extra all the time.
No,
but she was perfect all the time.
That's an outfit. Right, that's an outfit. That's not her.
Let me finish. She had the leotard outfit on, bent over, spread the legs, and was talking about Jasmine does da-da-da-da-da-da, and she was rocking her hips while she was doing it. Suggestive.
That to me is not the same. Because her in an exercise outfit, I don't have a problem with Geraldine's outfit. It's her behavior. It was out of character. My point is this: Agatha's behavior. The entirety of the show was that she was that extra nosy neighbor. Hey, but like she was always that. Geraldine was only like that in that one chunk of time. Even because you have to think about it. There's two times we saw Geraldine. We saw Geraldine in the black and white. And she was what? She was super calm. She was very reserved. She was very like, oh. And then
would you have preferred her to do Agnes and Amos and Andy?
I would have rather they if her character was over the top, because you have to realize there's people even in those 70s. You're talking about 70s tropes. There's characters like, okay, look at Jenny from I'm using a woman from what's that damn TV show?
That's 70s.
The Jeffersons.
No, I'm just kidding.
The Jeffersons. Jenny is Lamont's wife. The next door neighbors, they had a daughter.
Oh, I remember her. Yeah.
She was just goddamn a person. She wasn't an extra. Like, you don't have to play a trope just because you're the black person. She was actually incredibly calm, quiet, and so when you show us Geraldine,
but also,
she was playing the trope of the best friend.
Yes, she was. She wasn't playing best friend trope. She was playing black girl trope.
I have a really quick question. Didn't she not know like who she was at first, right? Or she knew the whole time?
No, I don't
know who she was.
Yeah, I don't think she knew.
Yeah, she didn't know for a period of time who she was, right?
She didn't know.
Right.
Okay, I thought so.
So Geraldine was being based on like characters from what's happening.
So yeah.
But my point is this: they didn't have to do that.
They didn't, but if
they did.
I
didn't hate it. Then that's what's going to be inspired.
I don't think it was.
They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that at all.
I don't think.
And I think they could have. That's fine. We disagree, but I definitely think that once again, like my point is this: they show black characters, they put us into these stereotypes. We always fit into them.
I think the sad.
They make sure that we do. Other than maybe Sam Jackson as Nick Fury.
Well, that's only because he did all the stereotypes he could do under Quentin Tarantino.
It seems like both. It just seems like
But
both.
my point is just saying, like, to me, I'm just saying, like, you absolutely listen, Marvel. Y'all can show us a black character without using any stereotypes or tropes. Because to me, I get what y'all are saying. Yes, you're right. That is typical of that time. But what it felt like was, we have a black girl, let's make her do that shit. When every black person in that time did not fit into that stereotype. There's people
but if
like
you're talking about series regulars and main characters.
On TV
that's what they played.
Fit that stereotype.
Not all of them, not every one of them. It didn't have to be that way.
But here,
my point is this: it doesn't have to.
Hear me.
I get what you're saying. You're saying that exists and that they went with it because it's a thing. And I'm saying it could be a thing, but it didn't have to be what we had to see.
I think it's a tragic reflection of the era that they were trying to portray.
That didn't serve the story. It wasn't necessary. We didn't need to see it. They just chose to put it there.
No, I take that. I disagree because notice that it showed as a change in atmosphere or symbolism, because when she recognized like, he died at the Sokovia event. And then all of a sudden the mood of the scene changed. So it went from like one extreme of being extra jovial to shit got real. So
okay,
I think they
but here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. You could still do that without making her play a trope. You could still, like, listen, you're an actor. I can have a jovial scene without her being a stereotype.
But
I don't like. My point is this:
jovial black people were extra.
Not all of them. That's putting all black people into a category of one type of acting. But even that's not true. I'm saying it's not true. It's not true that every black person who was happy danced around. That's literally a goddamn stereotype. And just because it was a stereotype of that time doesn't mean that we need to see it 40, 50 years later. So for me, I just feel like when you dig into it, somebody's typing really hard.
And I disagreed because think about it, if the show was about dealing with trauma, and if she's going into her path of nostalgia, of course she's going to think of stuff that comes.
You're justifying why they chose to make that choice, and all I'm telling you is, okay, they chose to make that choice.
Now, Duria, you know daggone well, I'm down for the cause, but I think that they did that choice. I don't think they did that choice of a place of maintaining stereotypes.
I do. You literally just said that. That's why they did. That's what. To me, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be honest. As a black person, to me, as a black person who watched it, and y'all are black people who watched it too, y'all had a different experience. My experience was they didn't need to do that. They could have. I know. I'm not saying that they. You're explaining why they did it. And I agree. I agree that is exactly why they did it. They did it for those reasons exactly. Yeah. However, they didn't need to do that.
They could have been the forerunners of nothing.
That story could have been perfectly fine if they just allowed her to just be in a good mood without the extra. It would have been perfectly fine, and no one would have been like, no one would have been saying, "I think she should have been dancing around in that scene. I think she should have pranced around, and I think she should have acted like that." And because she didn't. This is a horrible piece of fucking film. But Even though some of y'all feel like it was fine, some of us felt like, oh, and there it is. Got to make the black man dance. Got to make us. We have to see that moment.
He's right, because when will the time come when that no longer is what something we need to do, if not now? So I will have to agree with him on that one. I'm sorry. You got me with that one. You got me with that one.
Because I mean, there was a scene when she went back in, and when she came in, and then she dropped on that 3-point stance, hero stance. Like I think, so it's like, okay, a choice between, you know, it showed a foil of where she started, where she was a caricature, because she was a caricature. I will agree with that. To being, you know, reality setting in, and she's like, no, I'm strong and I'm intelligent, and I could drop on a hero 3-point stance. Dare you to fuck with me, okay?
I got you. All I'm saying is, Mo, like, I'm really not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, the only place we disagree is, I don't think they needed to do that in order to tell any of the stories that the points that you're making.
They could
have. Yes, we did see the growth. Yes, that's the thing. I think they could have shown it a different way without showing us that trope once again.
I think if they played her straight, I don't think it would have been.
I didn't say that she couldn't have been in a good mood. I didn't say that she couldn't have been over the top. But she was forced into a trope. And there's other ways they could have showed her being over the top and in a good mood. Look, I'm a whole actor. Trust me, I know. There's ways you can be over the top.
How?
How can I be over the top without being a trope?
Just be yourself.
Nigga, look at me. I'm always over the top.
And right now you're giving a trope of an angry gay man. So
okay. That's it for me. That's it for that conversation.
So I'm geeking out about the
how am I giving the trope of an angry gay man? Yeah, because that's where we are.
Because if you're a particular person, unfortunately, society doesn't allow us to do certain things based on what our skin color is. Mm-hmm. For example, Good Times. They had a lot of great morality tales. However, you had people like NAACP saying that, you know what, this show should not be on TV because it's showing depictions of poor people, like poor black people, like poor black people doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say that if it wasn't for Good Times, the Jeffersons wouldn't have happened, because the Jeffersons is a spinoff of Good Times.
No, the Jeffersons is a spinoff of All in the Family.
All in the Family. However, it was from the same production company, because they got a sincere letter saying, hey, you have this one show here that's doing this. Can you show other images? I think the issue more so, as opposed to...
You literally just proved my point, though, Mo. That's the difference. You're arguing with me about it.
Finish?
You argue with me about it, though. But
can I finish, though?
But don't yell at me. Don't call me no angry black man on my show and then yell at me, Mo. That's not cool. It's not.
Well, it's not. What is not? What you're doing?
Okay.
I'm saying is that regardless of what your actions are, you can be put in a box of a trope. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
And furthermore, if we have more balance of characters, we wouldn't be having this issue. So I'm not mad at them for making that.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying, Mo. They did that to the one black character. That's what I'm saying. If there were 8 black people on the screen and she did, go ahead.
But because she was the only black person.
That's the issue. That's literally the issue.
She had another. There was the black guy, and the black guy wasn't out.
What black guy?
Obnoxious.
Herb.
The next door neighbor.
Oh,
Herb.
right.
He was never obnoxious, but you couldn't even remember who he was.
Because he wasn't on screen like she was. What do you mean? To me, the issue is, like I said, once again, the issue
just as much as she was.
Absolutely not.
At that point,
absolutely not, bro. We had at that point in the story, we had seen a whole backstory. Look, this is how I feel about it.
Wait.
At that point of the story, they were both on there just as much. Now,
okay, and then I want to talk.
Further along in the story, of course, it focused more on Monica, because Monica's story, branch of the story, went further. But all I'm saying is that I didn't have an issue with it, because she wasn't the only black person there. Number one, and number two, I think if we just had overall more choices of black people in mainstream where they're not doing that pain stuff, I don't think we would be having these conversations. Because it would be more
so here's the thing. Once again, you're saying, oh, she was not the only one. There literally were about 30 people that we encountered in that show. One was
black.
2 of them were Asian, 2 of them were black, 26 of them were white. And the two Asians would be the agent, the FBI agent, the Indian man, the Indian man who got his mind and when Vision touched his head, he freaked out, and then the two black people. Of the two black people, the one
the guy that was doing commercials, he's also Asian.
Okay, so my point, cool fun fact. But my point is saying when you look at representation overall, they took the two black people, one who is not a main cast member, one who's not a series regular when you look at the Marvel thing as a whole. You introduce this first female black Avenger, that's how they've advertised her, and you make her do that trope. That to me is problematic, especially in a space where she's heavily outnumbered by white people. When JJ walked into a room and did his bit, it didn't come off negatively because nobody else in the room was acting like JJ. It was JJ. And then Florida was just like this nigga right here. And then you had differences. You had different people. You're showing us two people. One of them who is basically he has one or two lines every once in a while. She's actually got dialogue with these characters. She's in a house. She's hanging out with them, delivering babies, all this stuff. So to me, it's problematic that when you talk about representation, the representation we saw, there wasn't a lot of it. There wasn't a lot of black people. And we ended up seeing, once again, a trope. To me, it is always a constant reminder of, let's do some black shit with this black character, instead of just letting the character be the character. The only character that hasn't happened to, in my opinion, so far, is Zendaya's character. And I have reasons why I think that I haven't seen that happen to her character yet.
She's an alien.
Zendaya from where?
Zendaya's not an alien.
No, that's from Spider-Man.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of Zoe.
You're talking about Zoe Saldana. Yeah.
Well, but also but at the same time, Zendaya, she's unfortunately she's ambiguous.
Right. And that's fine. But my point is just saying that I think that they need to make sure. Wait. I'm just saying that I think they need to make sure that they need to, we don't need to keep telling that story. People go to Marvel story. It's nice that y'all want to address race, but do you have to do it the second episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier? If y'all want to address race, address it during Ant-Man, with Ant-Man. Address it with Thor. Address it with white people. They're the ones who created racism.
Yeah, honestly, let it be one of their prominent white characters.
Why does it have to be our story?
Addressing it from the standpoint that white people should be addressing it. Why do we need to keep hearing the shouting that we have protests for? The shouting that the years of speaking and that we are tired of telling this narrative already to white people. Why not show white people on their pedestal?
If you're trying to help
the way they're supposed to.
Because if you're trying to help the cause isn't to continue to make us talk about it. That's why you see so many people.
White people speak about it amongst themselves. That's what we.
That's why you see so many people. That's why you see so many people out there saying, "Teach me." To people like us, I'm not supposed to teach you.
We haven't been doing that for the past 20, 40 fucking years. Where the fuck have you been?
So that's my only issue with it. I'm just saying, I think that when we have these black characters, it would be great that we could let them live in their stories and not necessarily in their activism and leave that somewhere else.
One thing I will say about Geraldine in their 1970s scene is since the tone of that season or that episode was the Brady Bunch and so over the top, super colorful, then everybody was super colorful, including all the side characters. So Geraldine being more I can't think of her name, the auntie from Good Times.
Janet.
Having that funk swagger.
Janet Dubois.
You know what I mean?
I know her real name.
Wow.
I know her real name, but I couldn't remember.
Right.
Well, that's more the character she came in as.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I feel like you just contradicted yourself, though. Because you just brought up, you said everybody was over the top, right? Including the other black character, who you also said was not a trope. Which is my point. You said that
I said that. I'm sorry. Jermaine didn't say that.
Okay. Well,
nonetheless,
but my point is saying, if we're saying that he was over the top without being a trope, she could have been over the top without being a trope.
Exactly. No, he's right.
That's all I'm saying.
He's kind of
All right,
both
we're
right.
gonna move on.
It
We're gonna move on
kill.
because
That's
we're gonna move on. We're gonna move
It
on.
doesn't kill, but he's not
Because
wrong.
we got a
but it
whole
doesn't-
charm to talk about. We got a whole charm to talk about. And Rakia.
Oh God, we ain't got time.
Rakia.
They
So
got racism
Rakia,
in that
what
too.
are
I
you
can't
geeking out
wait.
about, honey? What are you geeking out about, Rakia?
I watched the Snyder Cut
Ooh.
last week. I watched
Yes!
the I watched the Snyder Cut.
I did not.
I did.
No wonder
I,
you were so tired yesterday. Yes.
No,
Come on,
I
4
watched this
hours.
like last Friday.
No, she's like when it came out. Hello.
No, I watched this last Friday.
Excuse
Like
me.
I sat in my bed, and I just, I sat and I watched it. Like I was doing other stuff, but like I actually like paid attention and really watched it. And like I remember like watching Justice League like prior to that, and it's whatever. I've been like that with most of the DC movies, with the exception of like Birds of Prey, honestly. But this right here,
It was good.
yes, like I sat and like I was really.
Are we gonna have this conversation?
What?
It was all right.
Oh,
It
you
was
saw
alright.
too.
Okay, so
It was much better than the first. Let's
Yes,
be clear.
yes.
The original wasn't that bad.
I mean, it's
There,
whatever.
I said it.
It
The
was.
original
It was
was not
whatever.
that bad. It wasn't. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't goddamn. It wasn't horrible. I'm sorry. It wasn't
I
horrible.
wouldn't say it was horrible, but it was.
It wasn't a
whatever.
horrible movie. It was
Okay,
whatever. It was just like,
It was
okay.
whatever.
This one was better than that one, absolutely.
Definitely.
And it was fun. I had a great time. But these motherfuckers out here going like, oh, like there's the reaction. I think niggas are like welling, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, like I wasn't like die hard for it, but I was like, oh, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I enjoyed all the backstory that you got for each character, particularly Cyborg. You got way more backstory for him, and
More than we ever got.
right. And like Joe Morton, Papa Pope, like he's always fantastic for me.
Not Papa.
Okay.
He is.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
like, that's who he is. He's that, or what's his name in Byron. He's either that or Byron.
Byron, yes,
Different Worlds.
honey.
Yes.
Hi.
Wait, Raven
You-
has
you
not been
basically-
introduced yet, right?
What?
Raven has not been introduced yet.
Not in the movie.
No.
She's
Not in the
she's-
And,
Yeah,
won't,
that's
and,
right.
and
No,
won't
because-
be apparently.
right
There
because
will
Why?
never be a Teen Titans movie.
Are they
Well-
fucking crazy? She's
well,
like literally
because
the biggest character.
unless they take the Teen Titans from I guess they
They're
could've
not.
had-
There's too many. Well, here's the thing about it. This is what's confusing to me. They clearly don't like. This is why I think this is why DC won't. This is where they always shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
They are never consistent. When I saw Mira, as soon as she walked on screen, I said, "Who that?"
Yep.
And then
Exactly.
And then I was like, first of all, I was like, "Who that?" And then when she started talking, I said, "Who is that?"
Mm-hmm.
And then when she said her parents were there, I said, "Who is this bitch? I don't know who this hoe is." Like,
So, but like, okay,
What's
so I
happening?
was reading up on it. I
will
was
no
reading up
longer
on
be in
it.
the sequel.
Right.
yeah,
So
she
I was-
will. It was a rumor. She didn't get fired.
Really?
hmm
Okay.
I'm
Ever- ever
so-
heard-
Go look it up. I read it today. She
Okay,
is still going to be
so-
in. She's still going to be in the movie.
Well,
So
That sucks.
So what I read up, because when I watch these things, I have to look up all the backstories for all these things. So
yeah.
Got to look up the backstory.
you got to, especially
Got
with
to know.
production wise. So like at some point it went from Snyder to Whedon, and because of how what are they called, the Whedon's leagues now, but like the because of how that Justice League did, as well as like Snyder's version of Superman did, was not doing as well as any of the Marvel movies. DC and Warner Brothers were like, okay, we're not gonna do like this big picture overall storyline like Marvel has been doing really well with. They're gonna focus on individual characters, which is why we've been getting these.
Which they should have did in the first place.
I mean, and so
That
like,
was the key.
so like they're not gonna look. There's not gonna be much
Well, they could've done the
continuity
universe.
over the DCEU.
Yeah.
There isn't
I
going
know.
to be.
There
know.
could have been if they had more.
If they focus on the individual.
If they had focused on it, you know what I mean? If they put energy into that, they could.
Yeah. I
They-
don't
you know,
I don't know.
the
The DC
like,
universe
they
is
don't-
just
they don't have
as
the sauce. They
expensive,
don't have the sauce.
but they don't have the. They don't. That's
not
like
DC's
what we
way.
said before. Like honestly, the Marvel boardroom, the storyboard room in the Marvel department, like fucking amazing. The one in DC, there's like 2 people there. Like they're not doing anything.
mean-
They're two people there with Google and maybe like 3 comic books, and they have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Have
But
you ever
which
seen
is
the
sad
Titans
because like there's so
series?
much to the DC.
That's my point. There
Right.
is, but they don't invest in the universe as a whole, which is
And-
No,
and
they
so,
wanted
like,
to rush.
because, like-
They wanted to beat Marvel to the
they
big
wanted
team
to,
up
yeah.
because
Right.
They
Marvel
just
already
wanted-
had the Avengers, and they're like.
But
well,
Marvel had a plan in
Justice
place.
League
Is the
bigger than
point
they
here?
are.
Marvel had a whole plan in place and a whole, a plan that would unfold.
But here's T though. It's like, okay,
Like, let me
but
just meet what they're doing.
this is the problem. DC is that I feel like they got too many cooks in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Probably yeah.
Because Titans the show,
Feige, we tried.
Titans the show, just give them some more money. That's all they need. They're doing.
That's
They
part
just
of the
need some more
problem, too.
money.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Let me tell you why.
with-
Wait,
with-
you looking like that, Jermaine? Because you don't like the show?
I like the Titans.
No, I want to hear what he
It's
says
alright.
because you don't like the show.
Why not? Why not?
This is why I'm telling. Listen, Jermaine, let me tell you why money would be the solution. Money would mean better sets, more action sequences, because that's what they need. That's what they're lacking. Starfire needs to be flying. Period. And they can't. The way she's supposed to be flying, they can't do that without that point.
That's true.
And if she was a flyer, I found out yesterday that she beat Darkseid by herself. By the way,
Even
I found out yesterday that she beat Darkseid by herself.
Oh yeah, she's that bitch.
I didn't know that.
She is that bitch.
Which tells me
But
that Raven could beat Darkseid by herself. But
we all know.
Right. Yes, we're
See,
very aware.
Raven
I-
is-
but my thing, and even her, even Raven, they would be able to give more of Raven's like Raven. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they could bring in Beetle. What's his name? Is it just Blue Beetle? They could bring in goddamn Terra.
They need to pull
They
some
can-
Young Justice in there. They gotta
Terra.
keep these-
Until they get a better budget, they can't bring Terra in.
that's their problem already. Is that they're going too many characters.
No, it's not.
Exactly.
Every other episode, they're introducing a new character. Like, even if you give that series,
But that's
more
the
money,
thing that DC I
that's
think
not-
worked.
That's not going to fix their bad writing because they have
Oh,
terrible writing.
yes.
Shots fired.
Hey, you.
Shots fired.
That whole season, the whole first season, it was dick.
Hey, sounds like a good time to me.
You said it.
Guys,
What?
Dick Grayson.
They
But,
leaned so much on Dick Grayson for no payoff. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
But he is fine though.
Episode, you just
So?
we're gonna
Is
release
he?
Trigon.
I
Are we gonna
haven't
beat
seen
him?
him.
Why are we fighting
I do
Trigon?
love Dick
Like,
Grayson.
they can't even control their powers, and we're already on Trigon. Like,
Right.
I agree with you on that. I the whole time I was like,
Poor
it's a
development.
little early for Trigon.
Yeah.
and then the very next episode, Raven just beats him like.
I agree with that. I was like, why is it so easy for her to be? But let's be clear. Let's be clear.
It should be.
Wait. Let's be clear though. Let's be clear though.
Character development.
No.
Not
It should be
really.
easier for her to do it, but I think it should have been harder for her to realize that she could do it. My issue with Raven's
Yes.
storyline was that it went from I have no idea how to control my powers to
It was-
I can trap a
I
demon
thought
in my
I had
head
powers, too.
to
No, what-
now I don't know how to do my powers again. That was the issue. It went from no control to massive control to no control again. And I'm just like, can
Synthos in there
I mean, it was
we
crazy choice.
Azarath Metreon Synthos, please?
Something.
And then when we get to Beast Boy, all season of the first season, he's I can only turn into a tiger. I can only turn into a tiger, and it's going to take me 2 minutes to set up, and I have to take my clothes off and
Right.
do this
We
whole
a wolf
werewolf
on Vampire
transformation.
Diaries here.
Right.
I actually like that.
But
That's where we disagree because, and I think it's cool because at the end of season
Watching it.
2, into season 1, he turns into a snake.
No,
Out of pure
in
necessity.
Season 2, he turns into a snake. On the
Big
first
difference,
episode
nigga.
of
What you
season
mean?
2,
It's the same episode. It's the same sequence.
Yesterday.
It's literally like either the last episode of season 1 or the first episode of season 2.
You
The
know what
point
happens?
is,
Okay.
They gloss over it like with
They did.
nothing. Like, oh yeah, he
I agree.
turned into another animal for the first time. No one
And it's
cares.
like, yeah.
We need Dick Grayson. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so back
Okay.
what I was saying. So backtrack a little bit. I think part of the problem with DCEU is because there's so many characters and there's so many renditions of their characters. right now because you're balancing between their CW TV shows and their movies, and their movies and TV shows do not connect at all.
None of them.
I mean, like
Titan is a standalone.
Right, and
well,
and even Titan is like a whole nother thing because Titan's not even CW. Like Titan,
well, they did tie it in though. They did tie it in with the what is it? Battle Infinite Earths.
Yeah, but isn't that like at the end? Isn't that
even
after
like
the fact?
they hopped into
in the
the
CW universe, they multiversed it.
Right.
So
they've been hopping to the multiverse, but like there's very little connection, and so like
right. Yeah, the multiverse is it's technically just a retcon. It's a band-aid.
Like,
you know what I mean?
There's very little cohesiveness.
They're not. It wasn't a plan. It's not interwoven.
So the nice thing about like with you have all these Marvel movies, and then you actually finally have some Marvel MCU like TV series is that it's still very much connected to what has happened in the movies. There's been that build up. It's still that continuity. Whereas between the DCEU TV shows and DCEU movies, there's no continuity between those two.
There's
a lot to go over.
I kind of disagree with that.
Really?
Because the Marvel TV universe kind of drifted. Like if you look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not
I've never seen
Agents
of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I can't talk about it.
And then also
yes, it is part of the canon.
Yeah, it is.
Not anymore.
It is part of the canon.
Yes, it is.
The
No.
last stuff, yeah.
No, that bitch was it. Wait, no.
I wouldn't be able to know because I wouldn't know about the later parts.
How is that possible? Because like I feel like isn't that
it definitely started as canon.
They started as canon, but they just started to
recently. They decided to just strip it of its
canon. You know why? Because they don't want to have to deal with the because then you have to ask. So where was the girl Quake? Where was Quake during Thanos?
Quake,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have
and then
Agent
also
of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Peggy Carter. Okay, so you have Agent Carter.
Yeah,
but the CW has like the Flash. They got rid of Arrow. They have Supergirl. They have Legends of Tomorrow. They have all these things, but like it has very little to do in my mind with the movies.
Yeah.
You forgot about the Netflix Marvel universe too. Because you got was it Daredevil?
Daredevil,
which also had Elektra and Styx, Jessica Jones.
Yeah, but they're still.
But I feel like those they did well to make those standalones. Like yes, they mentioned parts of those movies.
Well, because
at first they were canon.
This is what Disney does. As soon as they acquire a whole new thing, if you're not on board for the future along with Disney, they cut you out. That's exactly what they did. That's what they did to Star Wars. Now that we talk about that.
There's not a big stretch between them, though. At least with the beginning of them, there's not a big stretch.
But you're right. They should be somehow a little bit maybe more connected. But Disney doesn't give a fuck.
Not at all.
Disney has the money to not give a fuck because they did that to Star Wars. They did. I'm sorry, Star Wars has been around for much longer.
Yeah.
Well, no, probably around. But Star Wars has been along for a fucking long time, and they have a lot of fucking literature that they just said none of this is real anymore.
It became legend.
It became legendary, literally.
But
decades of literature, legendary.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
It depends because I was literally about to change the subject so we can go to this charm discussion.
Just real quick.
It depends. What is it that you want to talk about?
Just real quick, is it just me or should Zack Snyder be a TV director as opposed to a movie director? Because it seems like he can never. Right, it seems like he does a better job. Even with Watchmen, like it was trying to cram everything in.
I think just better directors just do better when they have more time to.
That too. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move to our next section of the talk for tonight, which is, of course, Charmed, the original versus the reboot. But before we do that, we're going to take a short ad break. And at this point, I actually will let you see a little snippet of the Wonelli Media premiere, Sip and Kiki, which premiered last night, which is a reality show recap show. And here's just a little taste.
So I want to spill the tea. I know we talked about this earlier, but we weren't on the air when I spilled the tea. So for the people out there, the streets say that.
Oh Lord!
So Quad accused Toya having to beg, borrow, and steal to get the house that she's in, the big, huge $1 million home that she's in. Allegedly. So the streets are saying that Toya had a friend who was going through a divorce. And the woman gave her some money to hide from her husband during the divorce.
That poor
Toya
woman.
then allegedly, Toya took some of this money and used it to get her house done. And so when the woman went to get her money back, Toya did not have it all. Allegedly.
Why did she give Toya the money if she wanted it back?
Allegedly.
Because her and her husband were divorced.
The same reason why Apollo was trying to hide them damn.
She was like, hide my money so I can keep my money in that bitch.
Yes.
Now that is a sipping Kiki.
Don't you miss waking up on a Saturday morning, eating a bowl of unhealthy cereal, and watching funny characters in your PJs?
Yeah!
Lucky for you, there is D&D Episonicals. Watch as a group of misfits set off to face the dragon of Ice Spire's Peak. You'll meet a retired professor that is certainly not petty.
So as I leave the room, I piss outside on the wall.
A turtle who lives off the power of friendship.
Stop licking my friends!
A half-demon businessman.
You know, if there's a payment involved in that, obviously you don't have farmhands to pay.
And an archer with a heart of gold.
If it's dangerous, I'll just shoot it.
Join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. CST, only at twitch.tv/Master of Realm. And by the way, I'm the DM.
That was twitch.tv/Master of Rem. They got a whole bunch of fun nerd geek stuff there throughout the week. Check them out. They got a lot of fun stuff. The other was a snippet from Sipping Kiki last night where the tea was spilled on Toya, and you know the rumor allegedly. It was Mo and they kept saying allegedly the whole time. That was it for me. But
hey.
I'm glad you said it. Look, when I was editing that, I was like, I'm so glad that they kept saying allegedly, because otherwise. So essentially, that's going to be fun. Every night, right after Real Housewives and Married to Medicine, we go live, and we're going to recap that in addition to other stuff that happened in the week. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, hopefully y'all come out and hang out with us. All right. Charmed, original versus reboot. Now, here's the thing. I don't think anyone's going to disagree that the original Charmed was better. I think that's very rare that you're going to have people. Okay. Look,
I just want to know who is our Meghan McCain here? Because there has to be like one person.
If there's no one that's Meghan McCain, I'm usually Meghan McCain. Let's be clear. Did you just not witness the first half of the show?
I did.
I wouldn't say Meghan McCain.
But I mean, like.
I know what he means, though. I know what he means.
I
know what he means. I'm not Meghan McCain, but I get what you mean. It's usually like, this is how I feel about it. No one's going to say, and I think, I don't even want to say what I'm about to say out loud. Well, anybody who fucks with charm, so we're never going to say, like, the niggas who would say that the reboot is better weren't Charmed fans. That's how I feel. Like, if you're a Charmed fan, you're never going to give... Because the reboot is a great show. To me, it's a good show.
But you're not going to give it up to Charmed.
But it's not. It doesn't deserve the title of Charmed. It should just be a whole nother show. They should have just made another show about witches who happen to be sisters. Witches of Eastwick did it. Like, but when you give it the title Charmed, then the thing about it is people like to talk about how Charmed, was bad, writing was cheesy. That's not why we watched Charmed.
It was campy.
We watched Charmed because of goddamn Alyssa Milano, Holly Marie Combs, and Rose motherfucking Gowan. Okay, that is why we watched it.
And all their low-rise jeans
and Shannon Doherty.
And
Shannon Doherty. We watched that. We watched like the thing that made Charmed great was those women. Yeah. Period. Point blank. It could have been 3 other women, and I don't think the show would have been as successful. They cast that perfectly because we were so in love, literally, with them.
I forgot how amazing Piper is.
I think that was Aaron Spelling's last project he did alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
she's an actress. Holly Marie Combs, that's her name, right?
And you know, it's a history-making show. It made history. I want to say Desperate Housewives, they tied for the longest-running shows with a female lead. With female leads, let's say that.
Okay. And this is real acting and writing versus Housewives.
No. I said Desperate Housewives.
Oh. You're right. Never mind. Different.
Yeah, not Real Housewives. Different Housewives.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, you got it. You good.
Different.
So,
that is different.
well, because he's talking about reality shows. I'm talking about
anyway.
So the point is this. So I want to have this conversation because when I did finally sit down and watch it, I'm sorry, I'm in love with Macy though. I'm in love.
Yes.
With Macy in season 2, bitch. Okay. Oh my god! Like, do y'all remember that time they went to the party? They had to go to some party, and
she was the goddess,
and she had that slick back with that long ass.
Okay, stop. First thing I want to say is that the drag in this motherfucking show is on motherfucking point.
For Macy,
it was.
I love whoever they have. They're like,
Macy's
on
Maggie
another
as well.
level.
Macy's on another level, and Maggie as well. Have you not seen Maggie? Maggie's face is not Maggie's real face, bitch.
Let me just say this.
The face you have seen for Maggie is not the face that she sees when she wakes up in the morning.
What I'm saying is, they're all beautiful, I think. But I think for Macy, they take her shit to another level.
When she's in a suit with the ponytail.
Yeah.
Every time Macy, like sometimes she just had, and I love like. Her is what's really keeping that show for me because you know who I can't stand. You know who I can't motherfucking stand.
Melanie, but I don't know.
Every time she comes on screen, I'd be like, "Get your ass!" And her powers are awesome though. I'm not even gonna flex. I can't handle her. Her powers are dope. I do like the fact that they changed up the powers in the second season, and I like how they did it and why. Like this whole they lost their powers and they have to get them back. Because I like this idea that magic never really leaves you, and so you still have that ability, but it just took a different form.
Yeah,
right.
That is so dope to me. Their season 2 is what made me really fuck with them though, because and then the empath power. Oh, they ran with that.
Okay, so what I was gonna...
Okay, but wait though, because Phoebe on the original.
She was still an empath
power,
but it didn't work the way that hers did.
Wait. It was kind of like later on in the show.
Yeah, it was one of the advancements.
Right. So I did kind of like how they just instead of making her, doing
so
with
passive.
the premonitions, because that was such a plot device in the first one.
It was.
I kind of like that they flipped it because it was kind of like, okay, girl, how many premonitions you gonna have this time? All right. Okay.
I like that though because Phoebe, even though it was a plot device, later in the series, she could basically force a premonition. And I love that. One of my favorite Phoebe episodes. One of my favorite Phoebe episodes.
Whenever she wanted.
One of my favorite, and if you really dig into the original charm, Phoebe's, it wasn't just that she had the sisters. The powers were one could move things with their mind, one could control time, and the other could. It wasn't freeze, but it was either way, not the prophecy. When you go to the prophecy that's in episode 1, the way that they describe it, it doesn't say that she could freeze time.
Yeah.
It said like power over time or something like that. Anyway,
same thing.
because that's why she could later on blow shit up. But anyway, and then the third sister was supposed to have like control of the phases of the moon, right? And I like that because it's very open ended. And what we find out is that if you realize. They actually explain that's why Phoebe's such a good fighter because she can tell what you're about to goddamn do.
Yeah.
And in this one, they even go a further ahead with that and they show it. So there's a scene in season 2 where she's fighting the dude and we see her like see her see like where to go. And I was so I will say that the reason that the good things about the new Charmed are only because they took the great things about that and then just expounded on them.
Okay.
And I think so the difference to me, the best thing was like the empath power when Phoebe was empath, magic is tied to your emotions so you can control other people's magic. Great. But it made her too powerful. And that's why the writers took that away from her at the end of like season 2, 6 or 7. So what they did with Maggie, they now she can control other people's emotions. So when Melanie was freaking out and she just touched her and then Melanie was
when there was a marble, yes.
I know, Maggie's so good. I love it.
Do you feel like they've gone too quickly with some of those really important parts of the original?
I'm glad
yes
they did.
And then no, because magic is so much more expensive, and the original was 1996, 98, sorry.
99?
98,
90, late
98, I'm sorry.
98 to 2006. What?
Don't twist your head. I was closer than you.
I know. I said 98.
I was closer than you. You said 96 the first time. I said 99. I'm closer than you.
Okay.
Yes.
My point being, okay, so it was.
Oh, Rakia.
It's back in the day. It's back in the day. You know what I mean? Magic now is like it's much more known facts. You know what I mean?
Don't let me hit you in the group chat, dude.
Talking to me? Don't make me hit you on public.
Okay, and that's the thing.
But so you know what I mean? So they can take that and run with it. They can do a lot more with it, especially when they start to add in like the Brujeria, and obviously there are so many other schools of magic that they can
even dipped into a little bit of voodoo in season 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, I give it
a little bits and pieces
and they're
things
doing
like that.
spells in Spanish. I like that part.
So
all of that
so
stuff.
That's okay. That's a good point.
They have so much. Now, Charmed was very, and I don't have a problem with this. They were very strict to Wicca stuff. You know what I'm saying? But this, what they're doing is they're going into this. They're doing this whole like magic, expansive magic. Now, and I think the reason I like that they're getting, but it goes back to what I said before. I like that they're getting rid of the stuff from the original, but it once again reinforces it just shouldn't have been Charmed.
Right.
It just should have been another show just as cool, because like you see, we're clearly geeking out about it. It's got awesome stuff.
Guys, so
did it need to be Charmed though? Did it need to have the name Charmed?
I just got a realization about their powers from the original.
Hold on, Mo.
Sorry, go ahead, Mo. Go.
But here's the thing. They were gonna already get those comparisons anyway, so why not make money off of that name? Because people know Charmed.
I was just thinking that too, because if they're still gonna do like Three Sisters and like it's this big thing, like because it's the three of them and they have these particular powers, like I can see them are automatically getting that comparison of Charmed.
So
and
why
so
not use
why
the
not?
same reason that you don't call designing women Golden Girls? Like,
yeah, it's still its own thing. So you should call it its own thing.
Say that. That is the same reason you don't call designing women the Golden Girls.
It's a little different because Designing Women and Golden Girls came out right around the same years. This is something that happened 20 years ago.
It started 20 years ago.
How are we gonna?
How can we make
some money?
Living single or girlfriends, they're all born
But again,
at the same like.
That's why you don't call girlfriends living single.
Exactly.
That because that was made by the same company. But
my point is, he's got an excellent point.
No, he's right. He's right.
He does. He is right.
He's right.
So,
but I think they were originally just trying to do like Charmed reboot. You know what I mean? That they were trying to do it in the spirit of Charmed
of the previous.
Exactly.
Series.
They were like
and they're just in the same universe. I mean, they have the same.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
But it's kind of
the same.
the same.
It's kind of the same. With White Lighters are there. They got the power of 3.
They retcon
have
similar things, but it's mostly the same.
It's mostly the same. Also, what I did like. Yeah, what I also like, but I think that's more so because it's newer. You know, the special effects. It doesn't take you out of the moment as opposed to doing in the past, which I think that's another reason. Yeah, I think that's another reason why they're able to move so quickly now, because they're like, okay, we got technology, so we can do more shit.
Yeah, we can make her levitate easily. We don't need a budget to make her levitate.
When Charm started, a lot of those season 1, a lot of them tricks, you could be like, oh, and there's the wire. You know, and that's not their fault though. That's not their fault. Like they couldn't help it. I know you're not.
But I think I like that though.
Yeah, I do like
practical effects of the first series sometimes hits a lot better than the extra CGI that they lean into later on.
But they did a really good job of not doing too extra on CGI, I think, in the new one. I think the new one is...
Well, I think in the old one, you have to realize the thing about Charmed, that the old Charmed, what it didn't have, that this Charmed does have. Charmed was not like Buffy. Charmed had... It was the first show of its kind.
Yeah.
Other shows about witches, it was all like, oh, what hijinks am I going to get into while my husband's at work?
Sabrina.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This was the first one where it's like, we out here fighting, like, what? And so for them, it was literally like every episode, like, what is this show going to be? What's it going to be? What's it going to be? It's funny enough, when they brought Rose McGowan onto the show, she was only told that she was told the series is on its way out. Because the assumption was when Shannon Doherty left, the series would tank. So she was thinking, because Rose McGowan was a movie star. So she was thinking, okay, let me get this steady check for 2 years and then be out. But then the opposite happened, and they became one of the highest rated shows on the network, and they ended up going longer than Buffy, which is the show that they competed with for funds. They never got the funds that Buffy got, even though it lasted longer. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you have to realize that, like, they didn't know what this show was going to be. It was always a toss-up. They had 2 last seasons. Season 7 was supposed to be their last season, and then when they got renewed, but season 8, Season 8 to me was what that entire show should have been. What I liked about what I'm saying is this: they finally let. I think what I could tell is they finally let Holly Marie Combs and Alyssa Milano have more say. They said, let's bring in some other witches. Let's shake shit up. Let's have higher stakes. Let's talk about are we willing to take lives, nigga? Like, are we willing to kill people? Like, and then I was like, if this was the show, then because I love the fact that they got rid of the source early, but then once they got rid of the source, it's like, what is our conflict? So then they had to come up with so sometimes it was like season 5 was cute, but it was literally like, let's just explore mythology because we don't have anything to do. And then you have the avatars. You finally got some stuff going. The problem with the avatars is they were unkillable. This is my thing. You're witches, and you're part of the strongest line of witches, and you have a potion that can kill avatars. So, when you have the potion, instead of saying, we have to use this wisely, as clever as y'all witches are, y'all can't study the potion and find out how to make another one? Right. See, that would have been a great storyline. Them trying to figure out how to make another avatar killing potion.
With the original series was like once Rose McGowan got to the show, they became really formulaic about how to defeat villains. Like in the first season and second season, like each new villain, each new demon, each new monster, whatever you want to call it, they had to have their own way of being. You had to stab them with the crystal sword. You had a special incantation. You had to beat them with the potion. You had to do some weird thing. But then eventually it just became, hey, go read the Book of Shadows. I'll start on the Vanquishing.
I disagree. That was always the formula. Jermaine, that was always the formula. Like every time they found out how to kill a villain, it was from the Book of Shadows.
But the point is that it wasn't like always just like a potion or...
No, like honestly, this is the change. This is the change. It actually was very smart what they did. When they found out Shannon Doherty was leaving, and they was very shady about this. Go do your charm tea. Let me show you. When they found out Shannon Doherty was leaving, they had an episode called Exit Strategy. Oh. That episode is where Piper gets her ability to blow shit up. What are we gonna do when she leaves? Exit strategy. How is this team gonna be powerful when she leaves? We'll make Piper the strongest one, and then so once she became able to blow shit up, literally, because in that episode she actually kills a demon with the power, and they've mentioned that that's the first time one of them alone has been able to kill a demon. That's why it became easier, because now Piper could literally just go boom, and they're done. Yeah. So you have to realize, like, half of their villains died that way.
Yeah. So it's like they had to elevate. They had to elevate how hard they're
sort
gonna.
Of get on my nerves when they started giving their villains like cell powers. Like she could blow up like their little grunts or whatever, but then like the one dude, she'd be like, die, and they'd be like, regrow.
That got on your nerves?
It did, because I was like,
I love that.
Like, if it was just like one or two dudes, I'd be like, this guy. But like, it was every other villain after that, and I was like, how many of these guys? It was like watching Dragon Ball Z after Cell.
This is why I disagree.
I kind of get what you're saying.
This is why I disagree, though. This is why I disagree. They made a very big point in season 3, before Piper even got her exploding powers. Upper level demons can only be killed when you have a piece of their flesh. the whole Balthazar storyline was they had to cut a piece of, and with the seer, in order to make the seer vanquishing potion, Phoebe had to rip that earring off of her and take that chunk of her ear.
Yeah.
So they always made a point to go, certain demons can only die certain ways. So when Piper couldn't blow, that was the one consistency they had that I liked. When she couldn't blow people up, it was like, okay, yeah, there's that. You can't kill that demon.
There is the limit on her powers, you know what I mean? Because otherwise she would be limitless. What I will say, though, I did like about, okay, so that was my realization about their powers. So there's always the oldest sister. In the original, the oldest sister was always the power of aggression. The middle sister was always the power of mediation, technically, and the youngest sister was always the power of emotion. Yeah. So we had Phoebe, who was always very emotional and very caring and nurturing and all those things, and then you had Piper, who at the time was always the middle sister. She was always mediating. You know what I mean? And then you had Prue, who was like the firecracker at the beginning. And then it's funny that when Prue died, and then when Piper assumed her place as the oldest sister, she also became more aggressive.
That's how it happened.
I love that about it.
What didn't happen was that Paige. Paige, I love Paige.
But she didn't become. Paige. She wasn't like the empath.
She wasn't the empath.
She wasn't the nurture. She didn't become the nurturing while Alyssa Milano became the more mediator.
Right. Well, Alyssa Milano did become the mediator.
Well, that's my point.
But what you call it didn't become the more emotional one.
Paige didn't play that part very well. I didn't think so. But
I also like that they didn't use that trope in the new one either. They didn't just focus on, okay, you got a middle one, you got a young one, youngest one, and you got the oldest one. So
well, actually, they kind of did. They kind of did, and they kind of didn't.
I will say it like the original did. I kind of like that.
So, the new one, which one's the oldest one? Is Macy the oldest?
Macy's the oldest.
But that's the other thing.
Mel is definitely not the mediator.
But this is why. Let me tell you, this is, and I kind of like that they did this. Is like Macy's the oldest, and Paige is the youngest, but they're both the adopted ones.
Yeah.
The ones who grew up without the family, right?
Exactly.
And so Macy being not growing up with them, and them just being, they weren't in a trio. So the difference was Piper, Phoebe, and Prue grew up
together
with that dynamic. Mel and Maggie, it was just the two of them. So it's always, I'm the responsible, mean, and you're the flip. And that didn't change just because we brought Macy into it. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason to really mediate between Macy and Maggie because they don't have that rapport that out of years and years of sisterly battles and stuff like that.
Yeah. So why Melanie does that more often.
Which I hate to say it, I kind of find it refreshing because
I love it. Macy's amazing, first of all, because from the geek part of me, because it's like, okay, she's all magic-y, right? But she's 100% science. I'm like, bitch, I love you.
Yeah.
I like that about her too.
Love it.
I love that about her. Like,
adore it. It's like
the black nerd in me. Okay, so let me dance around this topic again.
I'm sorry, and
hope that it doesn't go left. I really enjoy the way that they handle race on this Charmed.
Yes.
So this is why. First of all, they don't handle it in reference to white people. There's one episode where the white dude had the fairy. There's one episode where they
race.
Well, yes, but my point is this: like the episode what they reference it is so the youngest sister finds out that her actual father is not the man who raised her. That her actual father is black. Mm-hmm. But she's been, so basically what we find out is the mother had an affair with Macy's father, had Macy, then went and got married to Ray, I think his name was, and had Maggie. And then while she was with Ray, had an affair with the same dude again. So you find out halfway through the series that actually Macy and Maggie are full sisters.
Right.
Full sisters, right. And in that episode, it was so cool because in that episode, Maggie goes to Macy and says, I don't know how to be black. And that really touched my heart. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, she was looking at scholarships and she was like wondering whether she should like apply for one. And she was like, but I don't want to that's not my experience. I didn't grow up with that experience and I don't know what to do now that I know that that's a part of me. That is a conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's a conversation because it's not about trauma or, it's just a conversation about like what it means to like embrace your heritage. That's the kind of shit that I don't mind talking about. You know what I'm saying? And then,
so it's okay to talk about biracial people? Is that it?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking. It's a joke.
So there was something that like we had mentioned earlier. It was we didn't really talk about it. There's some allusion to like the problems, the backlash that the reboot got before it even aired.
Yeah.
And part of that was because that wasn't the only reboot that they were doing at the time. So like there was the Charmed reboot, and then there was the
allegedly, it never got greenlit.
No. There's another one. No, there was Roswell. Roswell got greenlit.
Oh, I thought you were talking about another Charm reboot. The one that they said that the girls were going to produce. The women were going to produce.
Okay, so I wish. Because there was because when
I think that you just do a Netflix movie.
Hey,
that would be cute.
I'm okay with that.
With the original women at their age now, and then bring back fine ass motherfucking Wyatt. Okay.
Yes, I was just gonna say,
bring back fine ass Wyatt.
Yo,
and let's
both
be
of them
clear.
kids.
Can we have
I'll
this
take both of
conversation
them
really
kids.
quick? Can we have this conversation really quick? Coop or Cole? Are you team Coop or are you team Cole?
Cole, sorry. Cole.
No.
I'm sorry. Because when I think of Cole, I think of Nip Tuck, and I can't. I love
No, that's Julian.
Cole
his name wasn't Julian.
No,
his name is Julian. In real life, his name is Julian.
In real life, but that's not his name in.
But that was the same guy in Nip Tuck. Yeah, that was
but that wasn't his name in Nip Tuck.
I know.
No.
I'm more into Coop. This is why. Like, we need to normalize applauding and cherishing non-toxic relationships.
Of course.
That, however, yes.
And from the moment they met, he was perfect for her. He was literally, literally sent to her by the gods. Okay,
is Cole the reason why we're in toxic relationships today?
Cole is the reason why we're.
Is that the reason why we've been?
Because most people who like Charm will always tell you that they're Team Cole.
Charge that to the game.
Is that what it is? Wait, I'm having a whole epiphany right now, and I'm kind of sad about it. Like the meme is like your addiction to toxic relationships started with it's a picture of fucking Cole. I can't right now.
It is because when you think about it, everybody was rooting for them. Why? He came into her life on some fuck shit.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes, he did.
And stayed on the fuck shit until he died. You have to think about how he died. Would you really think about how he died? Because she was like,
she had to get rid of him.
Well, it wasn't even that she had to, because they weren't even really checking for him like that. They were like, look, I'm glad you're alive again. It's weird, freak me out, but we're divorced. I just want to be separate. Okay, no.
That's my point. She had to get rid of him.
That's toxic. Like, and he literally
toxic relationships to
this motherfucker changed the world to force her to be with him.
He won division. He won division before WandaVision was WandaVision.
He altered reality to be with this woman, and we saying that that's the one.
M came out afterwards. You're right.
And we're saying that
Charm did it first,
and we're saying that was cool. So to me, I'm like, look, Coop helped. Coop is the one who helped Piper bring Phoebe and Paige back to life when he gave her the ring. Coop is that nigga. Like, telling me I'm Team Coop, and also Coop is finer than Cole anyway.
He is. I will give you that.
Coop is the one who Phoebe ends up marrying.
Yeah, Cooper is.
He's a Cupid.
And
it made more sense for her to marry a Cupid too,
as the empath. Yeah,
right. I mean, like, but let's be real though. Like, all of our toxic relationships that we love, it's because the dude is hot. The dude in relationship is hot.
So Leo is hot.
Cole was swarthy.
He's not as hot as Cole. No,
Cole was very swarthy in his time, and he was there for how many seasons? All of them.
I'm just saying, like,
not really, but
I'm saying, like, if any of your shows were like, it's clearly like this dude is not good for the woman character in your show, that it's a toxic relationship. The only reason why you even want to like even remotely root for
maybe that's a trope that we need to banish, really.
But
also
Cole had to give a gab though, and that's what really got the panties.
The what?
Cole had to give the gab. Yeah, and that's how he got the panties.
Yes, smooth because he was smooth talking and nip tuck. Yes,
he was a very smooth operator.
That's what it was. That's why everybody picked. Because
we got voice the way he said things. You were just like,
yeah.
Yes, I will follow you to the dark side. But also, by the way, Dark Phoebe, best Phoebe.
I heard. Listen, this is where Charm should have did. That's actually a pet peeve I had with the old. The pet peeve I had with the old charm is that they had amazing storylines that they just wrapped up way too quickly. If we had a whole season,
she should have kept some
Phoebe.
Of that.
We should have had we should have had an entire season of Dark Phoebe.
Yes,
that should have been a season where we had to figure out. And that's what I do like about this new charm.
And
like in the first episode of season 2, when they lost their powers, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, they're going to get their powers back by the end of this episode. And it didn't happen. So I was like, okay, they'll get them by the end of it. Took them all season to get all their powers back. And I said, yes. Okay, because so now you have to get crafty. Now you have to work. And now we're
that's what I'm saying. Potions Master Mel is amazing.
Not even just like get their powers back, but like you got like reincarnations of like improved, better powers. Like,
but they had to earn that shit,
right?
They had to earn it though.
Like, I like that. But that's the thing with storytelling that I think that these days is much.
I think
that I can't remember.
Where they lose their powers and they have to get it back, kind of thing.
No, where they have like really good storylines, or it's like they have the seeds of a really good story where you're like, oh, this is gonna be some juicy drama.
American Horror Story. Every American Horror Story ever.
Look, Vampire Diaries would have some.
That's what it is.
Which one?
Batwoman.
Oh. I gotta get back. I haven't finished.
Not seen it
season 2 yet.
Not seen it.
I haven't started season 2 yet.
Actually, most of the DC I have not seen, so I'm sorry to the DC fans. I'm failing you.
You are.
Well, wait, but didn't the original actress or actor that did Batwoman, didn't she leave?
What's
her
name?
Left
Something
after
Rose?
Season 1 due to injuries, and then season 2, they were like, okay, we got this new girl to come in. They got the Leslie.
Black
girl.
Somebody.
Okay.
So she's playing a new character. And but since they wanted to avoid the whole like kill off your gays thing, because the whole thing from season 1 was Kate Kane is a lesbian and she doesn't care. She like
yeah, because that was the storyline in the comic book.
Oh, Batwoman's a lesbian. Like she had a whole like coming out on a like interview thing that made no sense to me. I'm like, why is Batwoman giving interviews about her personal life to a magazine? Like, the whole issue of being Batman is he real? I don't know. Batwoman.
Right, like that we don't know his identity or anything about his personal life. Like, that's the whole point, is that anonymity.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a big storyline within the comic book, and then didn't they have like 3 Batwomans within the same?
They had to recast Batwoman with the black girl.
Well, no. I'm saying they had 3.
And now they recast Kate Kane with a new.
No, 3 Batwomans at the same time. She's saying concurrently.
No,
right?
I'm saying no. What I'm saying is that in the comic book, if I remember correctly, there's so much information. And they had Batwoman, but there was 3 of them. There was 3 different women that were doing it simultaneously.
You've had like multiple renditions of Robin.
That was Mystery of the Batwoman, where it was 3 women playing Batwoman at once.
Okay.
And that's different than Robin. Because Robin's gone from different people.
Yeah. Robin has had different people play Robin.
Right, that's different.
But that's within the same universe. So in this case, we're thinking like, okay, there's another Batwoman within the same universe as the first season.
So first we had Kate Kane.
Look it up.
Then we had.
Well, I feel like we've left the topic.
Yeah, but we're talking about charm though, right?
We actually are getting close to that time though.
Right.
So I know, but we'll have an after show. So here we go. So before we wrap up, here's the question. Because I mean, okay, I don't even have to do it one by one. Do we have a preference? Is everyone? I think we all agree that the original wins.
Okay, by homage alone, yes. Yeah.
No. Tell you like so. Okay, if you had to pick right now, somebody was like, you can. If you had to get rid of one, which one would you keep? Or Julian?
Oh, that's not fair.
Oh no, I'll get rid of the new one. If I had to keep one out of the 2, I'll get rid of the new one, and I'll keep the original.
Jermaine,
because that's.
I would have to keep the original just because it's the original one.
You wouldn't have the second one without the original. Exactly. I mean, we would have something like the second one, but we wouldn't love it if we didn't have the original.
That's true.
Mo?
Oh, I have to agree but that would be the only reason because the new is really good. So
the new is really good, but
the new is really good.
It's the way I feel about Legend of Korra versus Airbender.
Exactly. I haven't seen Legend of Korra.
Exactly. Okay,
well,
Airbender. I'm sorry, Airbender will always be my shit, and I've
You're saying Korra's better than.
I've gotten into fights with people who say that Korra is so much better. And I'm like, it is good. But you wouldn't have Korra if you didn't have fucking Airbender. Dang. So Korra ain't shit.
But here's the thing. Okay, let me let Rakia go. Then I'm saying, go ahead, Rakia.
Okay, so I would have to agree with the original, but also the new one is still good by its own merits. By its own merits, the new one is still good. Mm-hmm. The original has because it's original but also the longevity of the original. It's still really too soon for the new one to really compare in general. Like by itself, the new one is good.
And as a woman trio, amazing.
Right. So by itself, like if with no comparison with the original, the new one is good. But if you're going to compare the two, like we're going to say the original because the original has so much time, so much longevity. There's too much. That's too much to live up to, which is part of the reason why like the new one got so much backlash before it was even like filmed when they talked about rebooting it in the first place.
And then with the characters that they were going to reboot it with, they were just like, "What? Where are our three white witches?"
And it still hasn't gotten the support of the original cast members, with maybe the exception of Shannon Doherty.
Which is kind of a shame. Which is funny because Shannon Doherty because the original cast.
And I'm about to be real shady. I'm about to be shady because the three cast members that matter are refusing to take part in the reboot.
Which is almost
and I like Shannon, but Shannon lost her right to matter in rebooting stuff because of the fact that, let's be clear, of the four of them, she was on the show the least amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of the rest of them have tenure at this point. It's even Rose, who was on the show almost twice as long.
Because by the time that show ended, like Rose McGowan as well as
Rose McGowan did Shannon Doherty did 3 seasons. Rose McGowan did 5.
But I'm saying like
and then Alyssa Milano and Holly Marie Combs did 8.
But I'm saying like by the end of that series though, like all 3 of the remaining sisters had pulled with that series.
Oh, had pull, yeah, sure.
Yes, had pull.
Yeah, as opposed to Shannon Doherty didn't.
Right, like they were able to give like input, and it would matter by that point.
Yes,
as opposed to Shannon Doherty, who didn't make it that far. So
that's not necessarily true because by the time Shannon Doherty had lost her job, she actually directed a few episodes.
Okay,
yeah, she did.
She actually did have pull. She just didn't have that Alyssa Milano pull, boo, and she tried to pull that her or me, and they said her.
You didn't choose Alyssa Milano
to be fair,
Shannon
it wasn't
Doherty.
just her though. It wasn't just Alyssa Milano.
Alyssa Milano and Holly Combs. Most people were on her side.
Were like,
Shannon
Doherty
were cast members in multiple shows. So by the time, like Shannon Doherty at some point already had a history of like
it was just more like Shannon Doherty
behavior.
Had few supporters.
So like if you're gonna go with someone that has like a history, whether it's true or not, of being problematic, and one that's kind of a TV darling, which was Alyssa Milano at the time, you're gonna go with the TV darling.
Yeah, that's true. She was
right, but and on top of that, you know the one that played Piper, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
Holly Marie Combs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was also team Alyssa Milano too. Mm-hmm. So
that's true.
I
don't think that's true. I think she was neutral. I think she was neutral because the interviews have made it very clear that they stayed friends, her and Shannon.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen her new show with Shannon? Like when they went on a road trip together?
Holly Marie Combs is straight up everybody's friend. She has recently said some shit about Alyssa Milano though.
Ooh.
Not like bad, just because Alyssa Milano be talking shit about Rose McGowan. Like her and Rose McGowan had Twitter beef, and
that's right.
Like, no, we shouldn't be talking.
Although they I think that was more so because of the Me Too thing because Melissa kind of came in and kind of I think Rose was like, wait a minute, you're pulling from my steam here. That
it wasn't that was the Twitter beef that got brought up in the Twitter beef. I'm trying to remember what happened. Rose said something, and it was some bullshit. But either way,
yeah, some shade.
So my take on it is this, and I have one more question. But the next question we got to answer quick. I agree with everybody about it too. I just like to me, it's not even about what y'all said though. Y'all were saying, oh, it's at a homage, basically. Like we wouldn't have the first one. I prefer the first one. I literally if I'm walking past the TV and it's playing, I can easily get stuck. Yeah. Oh, I just want to see. I love this scene.
We know you
and I'm just stuck. I love it because, and I love
we're talking about.
Yes, I love charm. And so to me, I would have to pick that one just because I think it's for me it's more enjoyable. However, if you took away all the homage, the privilege of them being first and all this, and it was just two shows and you were comparing them, which show is better?
That's still not fair because one has 8 seasons.
I'm just asking. It's just an ask.
Has the benefit of hindsight. They can see what worked in the last.
I'm not. We're taking all of that away. We're taking all of the reasoning out of it. So we're not explaining. We're just saying which one is better.
Yes,
that's so hard though because even in the
it's a personal opinion. There's no fact. It's a personal opinion.
But I'm saying
oh, y'all are just gonna dance around it.
No.
No, I'll say it. It's a new one for me.
Okay, thank you, Julian.
It's a new one. Now, if you're gonna take it as standalone things, it's a new one for me. But it's because it's updated and it's because it's now, and it's a truth. But that's the truth. It is a truth, but it's the truth. It's the same thing. It's the problem I have with Korra and Atla. Airbender. Korra is amazing because it's more current, but you wouldn't have Korra without Atlas. So it's I will always pay homage to that. But if you're telling me to be indifferent on that way and just take them as two standalone things, the new show is better.
I think this is how I feel. I think the new show has better consistency. Yes. However, I would still give it to the OG.
I don't know.
I feel like OG to me was I couldn't wait. For me, I would record the episode on Sunday night on my little VHS, and I literally would watch the episode every single night. I would fast forward, rewind it every night, and then.
Wait, do we all have a favorite episode moment
of Charmed?
Oh, mine is. I'm sorry. Mine is actually after Prue died. Piper. I will never forget Piper's breakdown after Prue died.
Which one, child?
No, I mean the very first one. No, the one. No, not the very first one.
She broke down 8 times in that episode.
She had the demon that was inside of her. Whatever.
Yeah, okay. When she was when she was at the mausoleum, when she said,
"I'm sorry," that part got me. That part forever lives in my brain. It takes space in my memory. That was a part. That was a moment for me. Henry Combs Piper has always been she's. I'm sorry, she's.
I love.
She's always been there.
I do love her.
Holly Marie Combs was acting her ass, and this is what upsets me. This is what upsets me. They gave some Emmys. I definitely I don't think the show as a whole was Emmy worthy, but some of her performances.
Were amazing.
That's the one of the time. This is I cried so hard. I didn't cry hard, but I cried.
I cried
in
hard.
Season 8.
No,
in season 8 when they found out that Leo was gonna die, and then Piper was she had called the Angel of Death, and she called the Avatar, she called everybody. He's why does he have to die? Why? And then the Angel of Destiny came and said, because you have a coming battle, and the fire that you need to win the battle is gonna come from him dying. Mm-hmm. And so she had to give him up. That scene where she put him in that chamber.
That's
and she was and she did the thing where she just touched his face. I was like, oh my god! If she don't act her fucking ass off.
And that was the couple that I would regardless of what it would. I always rooted for.
Yes,
Piper
because they were the thing about Piper and Leo. The issues in their marriage weren't him being toxic. It was about they had regular married people issues. You're not gonna get. It's not gonna be happily ever after.
Was vanilla.
Wait, Jermaine is trying to say something.
Can we have a moment to just drag Dan. Like, just a
No! Dan had one of my favorite moments when Dan was about to punch Leo and Piper froze him, and then Leo and Piper were talking, and then after they were done talking, Piper goes, and he's like, "You want me to go stand back over there?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "He's gonna punch," and Piper's like, and Leo's like, "He's gonna punch me," and she's just like. She's like, what do you want? Do you want to find out? And so when she unfreezes him, Leo says, "Whoop!" I love that scene. I love it.
So the thing with like Phoebe and Cole were hot. Phoebe and Cole were hot, but Piper and
all of Phoebe's love interests were hot. Let's be clear.
Right.
Like,
yes, but there was Leo was good looking, but Piper and Leo.
Andy was prude. Andy was prude.
You were like Andy was ugly.
Andy was prude. Andy was not Phoebe.
Leo were the stability that you wanted. Like that's the stability that you really wanted in a relationship.
He was the love that you wanted because Leo loved that bitch. I'm sorry, Leo worshipped Piper. Worship me, motherfucker.
There's that scene where they were broken up. It was Valentine. There's a scene where they was Valentine's Day and they were broken up, and he gave her that card.
I love Leo.
I'm telling you, like Piper and Leo are relationship goals. Piper's a whole angel that gave up his wings for her. Was willing to live like he was listen, it's you and me, boo.
Okay.
And it's like, and then there was one point when he was like, our love, when he had to become an elder, he's like, our love transcends this, and it lifted me from the lowest lows, and now it's taking me to this place, and it's because of your love. And I was like, that's why I hated Chris. But we're not doing a whole Charm review tonight. We're only doing a Charm versus the original reboot. We'll do another Charm episode. We just talk about Charm. But so I want to say this. That was great. A great chat. We'll have some after show chat. But that's all we have time for tonight. So I want to say thank you to Jermaine and Mo for joining us. Anyone watching, I want to let you know, Talk It Out is this Thursday. And Sipping Kiki is every Sunday at 10 o'clock. Sorry. So this Thursday we're having a really big event. We're doing an Asian American African American summit because ever since the shooting, I've been seeing too much rhetoric about the violence between the two communities and all of the real issues that are there, but it's been brought up as a means to justify why we should not be advocating.
It's a diffuse,
right?
As if Asians
so for me, at this point, it's really important for us to have that conversation and then move on.
Let's talk about the black violence.
So
also,
let's have that conversation.
Have you met us Americans? Move on, really?
Okay, but also though, I'm gonna do this for Duryea. If you have not already, please do donate to our GoFundMe account for Flirting with Destiny, which is Wonelli Media's first produced Wonelli Media web series, and so we need some extra funds to get the ball rolling, and the ball has been rolling. We just need a little more help from y'all. So if you haven't already, go to GoFundMe.com/F/Flirting with Destiny or Flirting W Destiny, and give what you can. Give what you can.
$1.
And after you get finished,
and every little bit counts.
Yes.
So to every single person that has donated, I really appreciate it. But that's all the time we have for tonight. We love you all so much, and we will see you next time in 2 weeks for another episode of Geekin' Out. Make sure you come back and geek out with us.
Bye.
Bye.